I offer up this contract to bear the wicked spirit beast that sleeps within the earth.
There's no escaping coup, my friend. Oh yes, Reiner. Before we part ways, allow me to tell you something. Your little friend, Cuckoo, she's being confined in the manner of a noble of this territory. We'll be waiting for you there.
I will make you regret this. Ferris is sure taking her sweet time. I wonder if Koo has been giving her any trouble. Yeah, well, I guess it's not like she can't handle herself if it comes down to it.
That's how an alpha stigma is contained, didn't you know? Can one truly be so in the dark about his own powers?
If there's anything to that method, I wonder whether or not it'd save you. I mean, you haven't really hurt anyone yet. I'd gouge it out of you myself if I could, before your mind becomes so damaged that extraction is pointless.
Where am I? What are you doing? Where are my mother and father gone? I saw them. They're dead. It's all my fault. Everyone, you murdered my parents to get at me, didn't you? I'll kill you!
Get a hold of yourself.
Why me? It's not fair. Tell me one thing I ever did to deserve this. Just stop it. I never wanted this. I never wanted any of this. I know my mother and father are dead because of me. I can't take it anymore.
You can run away, or you can lay there and die. I'll leave it up to you. Far be it from me to dispute whatever fantasy you have of salvation.
I wasn't born yesterday, creep. You intend to kill me, don't you? Monsters like me don't deserve to live.
Yeah. About that. I've been giving the matter a lot of thought. It's a hell of a thing when the mere fact of your existence means people you love get hurt, get killed. Or still, that the people lucky enough to survive shun you as a demon. Tends to make you start asking questions, much of which begin with why. And folks either recoil from you or wind up dead for the effort of trying to get close. Hell, what sane person wouldn't just want to curl up and die? That was the crux of my thinking for a long time. But, just when I thought that was it for me, somebody got through. A naive would-be king who somehow saw a little good in me. A scared young girl who tried to convince me I wasn't a monster. And, more recently, a sword-wielding psychotic ice snake who treats me like a pincushion. And it does make me wonder if I judge myself too harshly. If maybe, I don't know, life can work. These days when I dream I'm building a world, one where the people I care about can thrive, where life makes sense to all of it. I don't ramble on like a total lunatic.
That's where you and me part ways, then. Every last person who cared if I live or die is gone.
What about your old man? What was the last thing he said?
Don't dare blame yourself for my death either, son. You live. You have to go on.
You're wrong. There is someone left. We didn't just fall out of the sky to rescue you. A little girl named Cuckoo was desperate for us to intervene.
She was?
At the moment, she's being held hostage by a couple of bad apples who intend to lure you into a trap. Now, of course, the noble thing to do would be to try to swoop in and get her. But, I mean, come on.
But nothing. That's what I'm gonna do.
Be realistic, kid. You can't even fight.
That's no excuse for leaving my best friend to rot. Just teach me what I need to know. Look out!
Welcome back, Ferris.
Don't be taken in by his wiles. Not only does he spend the better part of his time slumbering while the world lives on, he's been the ruin of so many virtuous young women that Vice's most stalwart chroniclers have lost count. Alas, conscience forbids greater detail within earshot of a child.
You don't really do those things, do you?
Don't pay attention to Ferris. She is a master of exaggeration.
It's a pleasure to meet you, ma'am.
We were just talking about what he'd have to learn in order to help us rescue his little friend.
We don't dare risk the boy's purity by leaving his instruction to a pervert. Come, follow me, Arwa.
I would be honored to, Miss Ferris.
Good old-fashioned martial arts. Between that and his alpha stigma, give me a shot. Hell, he might be a force in his own right before it's all said and done. If he survives Ferris, naturally. All right, that's where she's being held. Now, we definitely want Arwa to be the knight in shining armor of this story. That is, of course, if you're sure.
Yes, I'm more sure than I've ever been. So let's go. It's the least I can do for Cuckoo after what she did.
You may not survive.
Stop trying to talk me out of this. I'm going in there, okay?
Rush though it was, you've been trained expertly. I take full credit for you not in any way resembling the filthy old man.
Old man? I hope that's not a jab at yours truly.
If the shoe fits. When it comes to vile, lascivious ne'er-do-wells, you've held the highest rank for several centuries.
I haven't been alive for several centuries.
You'd think they'd be waiting in ambush.
Not given half a chance of making fools of us.
Oh, don't fret. We have been waiting for you. The Ilacrone scythe is terribly famished. I intend to glut it.
It must be said, you certainly took your time.
Is the girl safe or isn't she?
You don't think we'd harm so valuable a hostage?
We don't typically resort to using lives as bargaining chips, but my dear brother insisted that the situation was delicate.
You two can't hope to win against us. Have you already forgotten what happened last time?
Indeed. Your power is all the more reason for us to have called you here. At the risk of sounding forward, we'd like to ask that you put that power to excellent use. In servitude to the great kingdom of Gastark.
You kidding me?
Very soon the whole world will stand in the shadow of Gastark's banner. A world united under the auspices of a visionary king. Free of discrimination. Free of strife. Where tears flow no longer and happiness is the order of the day. Such is the mind of Lafal Edia, our king, who possesses not only the desire, but the means to shape that world.
To hear you put it like that, he doesn't sound so bad. It's extremely tempting.
Go on.
I like the way you word it. A world where happiness is the order of the day. If that really is your king's ultimate goal, maybe joining you guys wouldn't be such a terrible idea. Which is to say, you do paint a very compelling picture.
Are you mad?
Do you take our hand in friendship?
Not so fast. If world peace is really what all this has been about, why does all of this look like what you're trying to abolish? You didn't exactly come by those hero relics by sowing happiness in your wake. Hell, you roused an alpha stigma just to try to harness his strength. For peacemongers, you've got a lot of blood on your hands. If that's the kind of thing I can look forward to by using my power and servitude to Gastark, you can tell your precious king to kiss my ass. Your country will never be my home. Not so long as it treats alpha stigmas like outcasts, or worse, as weapons in some hypocritical mission of peace.
How dare you?
It's easy enough to hurl cliches and platitudes at us for what we do, but the reality of our situation doesn't admit of simplicity. Collateral damage amasses in revolutions of any scale. It's not as though we enjoy having to kill. The life of each human being we're compelled to snuff out weighs on our conscience.
Not a fraction as much as it ought to! You have no idea how many people I've killed, how many innocent lives I've snuffed out in thrall to this damn curse. I used to think that clinging to life was evil, that I was death incarnate. But death, Arwa, is not. He hasn't killed anyone yet, and with luck I can keep him from ever crossing that line. The only thing you see in him is either something to harness or something to eradicate. Neither of you see in him what I do, namely that he's human.
As noble as the sentiment is in theory, you could search the entire world and never once hear it echoed.
But the place I call home gives the lie to your words. The King of Roland isn't like your king. He doesn't just pay lip service to the idea of peace. He actually believes the means and ends ought to resemble one another. And when I talk about ends, I mean a people's revolution that will make every rock, every pebble in the realm quake. Believe it or not, he's deluded enough to think it can be achieved without violence. A flea can't die on his watch, but that he's racked with guilt and blames himself for it. That's why, for all his heirs, I align myself to the man proudly. Because in the world he intends to build, every last one of us matters.
You're not so naive as to think you needn't crack a few heads in the process. Kings don't carry the weight of their vision lightly. The road to peace is fraught with dilemmas, yes?
Trust me, if he starts following your king's example, I'll make sure the first head cracked is his own.
So negotiations have broken down.
I hate to break it to you, pal, but we were never negotiating. We were here to get the girl back. Are you ready?
His words did have me ensnared there for a bit. A world without strife would be a lovely one.
Don't rule anything out, partner.
Please, now's not the time. Let's go.
Of course, right behind you.
Now, Cooper! Honestly, this one I will enjoy.
I offer up a contract to bear the wicked spirit beast that sleeps within the earth.
It isn't too late to change your mind, you know. Come now. Won't you reconsider?
Hell, what I seek is thunder!
I hope you're not operating under the assumption that a rule fragment can be taken down so easily.
Ice wall!
Burn her! No, you don't! From the west, I call the empty, the formation!
I seek is thunder!
I bring forth the brilliant! What the... I've lost.
They've an ally in hiding.
Well, crap, there goes that plan. I thought we'd get him before they figured it out.
Operation Surprise Attack has officially fallen flat. Call the boy down.
Arua!
Yes, sir!
Meddling with the very structure of your spells. An interesting move, having the boy strike from off stage while your own invocation merely directed the path of his energy.
Bit of a cheap trick, granted, but was it that obvious? Jeez, maybe I really should reconsider.
Imagine a pair of alpha stigmas banking on deceit. I'm rather disappointed with myself for not having pieced together your inelegant little ruse sooner. It was terribly disorienting at first, I'll admit.
So, should I feel honored or insulted?
I do believe I've reached an epiphany in this battle. I understand why your kind are in such discord with humanity. For most, you're the stuff of mind-shattering nightmare.
Believe me, we don't need you to tell us that. But between living in fear of harming our loved ones and the constant worry of being hounded like animals by strangers, I'm gonna go out on a limb for a second, suggest that maybe the larger share of that nightmare is our own.
Then why not be kind enough to die? Having to fight you again in the future is not a merry prospect.
I've got a better idea. Why don't you just go the hell home?
Coup?
Cuckoo!
You dirty son of a bitch!
You were right about our having no hope against you. Sadly, that leaves us no choice but to bring this meeting to a finish, along with this sweet little thing's life.
Please no!
Damn it! Too late for that, I'm afraid.
Impossible! This can't be. This cannot be happening. Only a rule fragment like Brother Lear's could have caused so much damage so
Rule
quickly.
fragment. Another term to group with hero relics, I assume. Interesting. Two concepts altogether foreign to me.
It's him, the man we fought in Nilfa.
What the hell is he doing in Runa?
Wait, get up!
Just get out of here! Leave me!
So, you two are the troublemakers who've incited Runa to dissent. Ambitious, but for naught. Let there be darkness.
What I seek is thunder! Azuchi!
You idiot! Why on earth would you have deflected?
Call it a favor. Pay me back another time. Now get the hell out of here!
I must confess the situation does not sit well with me. I had the pleasure of overhearing the bulk of their ideological exchange. I'm afraid there's no room for doubt. The two of you certainly hail from Roland, which makes your bold defense of the interlopers disturbingly suggestive.
The three of you share more in common than we do. We are not assassins. We don't mow down whoever's in our way.
Alpha stigma, hero relics. What tangled web does His Majesty weave beyond my knowledge?
But hey, hold on. You're just walking away?
There's no need for me to stay when our battle can just as easily be postponed. If I may be so brazen as to offer you both my insight, would you scoff at its taking shape as a warning?
I don't guess so.
Good. I'm so glad to hear it. You just suggested that I mow down those who stand in my way, but ask yourself one question. What sort of world would be left were I to have my way? The simple answer to which is a world peopled entirely by those whose lives I deem convenient to my purposes. Yet, if an alpha stigma were to have its way, would not the landscape left in the wake of such unquenchable bloodlust resemble in most particulars my own ideal world? Think about it. Human beings sustain themselves on the bloodiest of conflicts. Always have. It's part of their essential nature. Happiness will never be the order of the day. Hardship and ugliness rule. Forgive me. I do like to prattle on. Of course, you know all too well the salient features of the human race. If in so doing I have spoken out of turn, I implore your indulgence.
I should offer you our gratitude. Without you, we couldn't have rescued Cuckoo.
You don't suppose that I came here to lend you my aid?
Well, no, I'm not that much of an idiot. Even so, the timing of your attack was, well, let's just call it a very happy coincidence.
Such a pity. But your existence presents more questions than I'd like to answer. It may just prove easier simply to kill you.
Cuckoo, wake up!
So what do we do now?
Well, one thing's for sure. It's far too dangerous for us to bring them along on our quest.
That's it. I know just the place to take them.
Yeah, perfect.
It's high time to set out a light.
Is there nothing so trivial that you won't agonize over it?
Too many things have begun to change. Runa is behaving strangely. Rumor has it that Nelfa stands on the precipice of a violent revolution. Too many things converge in favor of a conflict. War fast approaches the condition of inevitability, despite overwhelming popular outcry against it.
War is war. People are people, for that matter. Popular outcry means nothing. Humans despoil one another. They fight to essay their ideals. And those, regardless of shape, foundation, or substance, converge in the person of the king.
And I would answer those ideals, fulfill all their hopes and their dreams, by forging a world in which the lowliest person may thrive, where war needn't be the means to bringing such ideals to fruition, where if one so chooses, afternoon naps can be taken at leisure.
You still cling to the fantasy, even knowing it to be the dream of a monster? Even knowing, as you do, the vision's inherent flaw?
It should still be in sight. I refuse to accept that the goal is an illusion. And yet... I've a promise to keep, one I dare not think of forfeiting, not and live with myself. It is high time to set out a light. Yes, a light.
I just realized something. All these royal pain-in-the-ass situations I keep getting thrown headfirst into are just that. Royal. Damn you, Sion. I swear to you, one day you'll know firsthand just how much all this crap you've put me through sucks!